My manager fired me, so I took her job and the guy she liked. A couple years ago, I applied for a front desk receptionist job at a massage spa, which was a great change from bartending. After COVID, I was super burnout on dealing with the food industry, so I decided to try something new. I interviewed with the manager who pretty much hired me on the spot, and it was a Monday through Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. position. Fellow bartenders know how much a change this would be for my sleep schedule alone, but I was looking forward to it. No more coming home at 3 a.m., no more bar prep, but I still made tips at my new job. It was a win-win. I was there for about 3 months when I got a promotion, and then another 2 months I got promoted to assistant store manager. Hindsight. Yes, I realize now that is a red flag, but I was young, and at the time I was excited and looking forward to it. Around this time, there was a change in ownership, and the store manager, my manager, was not dealing with it well. So much so that she wasn't dealing with it at all. The previous owners, the ones who promoted me, were there every single day and treated the place like a family. The new owners, well, they didn't even live in our state. It very much took a corporate shift that all of the staff was not happy with. Keep in mind, most of the massage therapists had been working there for decades with the previous owners, so they took it the hardest. My manager at the time also was going through a breakup and always complained that she had no friends. I have a pretty close-knit group of friends, so I invited her to my 21st birthday party that year. She started mingling with my friends, numbers got exchanged, etc. I didn't mind. In fact, I thought it was good for her, since she was in a tough spot. Side note, she was turning 32 the following year. I'm bringing this up for a reason. Then something happened that tears me up to this day. One of the fellow front desk receptionists, one that ironically graduated with me, passed away in a fatal car crash with her and 2 family members. This gutted all of us. We closed the spa for a few days and attended her funeral. Everyone was there, minus one person. My manager. I called her to ask where she was, and she said she couldn't attend because, and I almost fell over after hearing this come out of a 32-year-old woman's mouth. She had a giant crush on our coworker, and it would be too hard to see her. I pretty much just hung up the phone and went home to be alone. Now I had been doing her job for months now. Anyone who has worked in retail or similar knows there are regional meetings pretty much every other week, mostly on Zoom. My manager wasn't there, so I attended even though I didn't have to. It definitely couldn't hurt. Most of the staff were looking at me for direction, and I did the best I could, but I could not do things that the store manager had to do. Eventually, the new owners and regional directors were asking why I was in the meetings, and more importantly, where my manager was. I told them I didn't know, but I defended her and said she was going through a hard time. Apparently, they had been trying to contact her, but she was leaving them on red and declining every call, so they put me on all the emails and gave me a little more wiggle room until they could figure out what was going on. My manager was there once a week at best and barely did anything while she was there. But she became extremely jealous of me and that I was being recognized. She actively petitioned against me for any raises and lied to me, saying that the owners didn't approve it, but I didn't find out until later. Her job was in danger because of me, and she decided to take it personally. At the time, I had a friend who I had a thing for, and she knew that, so she went after him too. I was fuming. First, you leave your entire staff hanging, you act super inappropriately at the office, you mess with my paychecks, and now you're going after the guy I wanted? Game on. One of the things the new owners granted me was being able to fix the time clock and the schedule. If an employee needed a day off, or if they forgot to clock in, I would be able to have access to all of that. So one of the therapists told me she forgot to clock in, and her name happened to be right below my manager's name in the alphabet. We saw something we were not supposed to see at all. My manager was committing time clock fraud. She had clocked in the previous days from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but she wasn't at the spa. I took a picture of it, but didn't say a word to anyone. Fast forward a few weeks, she brings me into her office and says she has to do what is best for the spa and let me go. What she meant was she needs to do what was best for her. As angry as I was, I knew what I had. I threw my key on her desk, and she had to deal with a spa full of angry staff and clients. I immediately wrote a long email to the new owners and sent them photos of what I had. For some reason, they were disappointed in me because they wanted me to fight to stay, but that's neither here nor there. They investigated further and told me that everything I had said was true. One of the last things I told her was that she wouldn't last a month without me. She was out about 10 days after she let me go. The owners wanted me to take over her position, and I told them I would if they could double the salary my old manager was making. They couldn't, obviously. That place had a lot of issues that I won't get into. They aren't interesting, and this post is long enough. As for the guy I wanted, well, that's the best part. She continued for weeks to try and sleep with him, but she was shocked to find out that I already did. My entire friend group found ourselves blocked and restricted on every social media app. By the way, me and the guy are still good friends to this day. As I wrote this entire thing out, I didn't realize how much of a giant red flag my manager was, not only in the work environment, but as a person too. And for me, well, I found a much better job, making more money than what I would have been if the spa accepted my salary offer. I also own a dance studio now, which has been a wild ride, but it's something I've wanted since I was a little girl. I'm exhausted all the time, but I cannot begin to explain how worth it is.